As you recall, we're going to create an animation block. A way to add behavior to your app is to use block objects. Blocks are like traditional C functions in that they are small, self-contained units of code. They usually can be passed in as arguments of methods and functions and then used when they're needed to do some work. Now remember our design patterns? We have already used the model view controller and delegation design patterns, and I showed you how the info and done buttons use the target action pattern. The block object design pattern is similar to delegation, but it's more event-driven in that it allows you to create methods or functions that you can pass to other methods or functions, which are executed as needed. For example, you might want to have some code that scrolls the view as necessary when the keyboard appears, and you would pass that to a method that is invoked when the keyboard appears. With iOS 4 and newer versions, a number of methods and functions of the system frameworks are starting to take blocks as parameters, such as the completion and notification handlers, but more importantly for our purposes, the view animation and transitions. And so in our sample app, My World, we're going to use the block-based animation method animate with duration to animate the view. This is really what the animation block is going to look like. The UI view class provides common methods that you can use to create all types of views. And in this particular code, we're going to use it for a block of animation. The method animate with duration animations, which is available only with iOS version 4.0 and newer versions, greatly simplifies creating an animation. With one method call, you can specify the animation and its options. So inside the block, the code sets property values to make visual changes that comprise the animation. And we're going to type in this code now. We've already began with the UI view. Now we type animate with duration. And we're going to use our speed property following animations. We put in our bracket, and it fills in the other bracket so that we're ready to roll. What animated with duration does is set the duration using our property speed for the animations in an animation block. Its full name is animate with duration animations completion, and the method also sets the animation duration code to use upon completion. So now we type the animation block itself. UI view, set animation duration to speed, which is our speed property. Again, UI view, set animation delegate for receiving messages. The message we're likely to receive will come as a set animation did stop selector, which will turn into a selector message, animation done, finished, context. Close bracket. Now what we've just done is we've set animation duration using our property speed to the animation in the block. That's here. We then set the animation delegate, and this is the delegate to receive any animation messages. We set that to self, which is our main view controller. We then set the message to send to the animation delegate when the animation stops. The selector here defines the message, which is animation done, finished, context. Now we need to position the frame, the falling image view frame, for the end of the animation. So we type falling image view frame with a rectangle at 60, 500, and of course 200 by 200 because we're not changing the width and height. Now remember, now we have set the animation to end at 500. And remember way back here at the top, we had set it to -100. So it goes from -100 down to 500. That would be -100 above the top of the view down to 500 at the bottom of the view. We need to put a semicolon here. And we need to type the completion code that goes along with animate with duration, speed animations. Completion. And bool finished is just fine for us here. And the code we put in here, when finished, is to remove falling image view from the super view. And then to release falling image view because we can't keep it around any longer. We need to do proper memory management. It's something we allocate, we must release. Finally, we end that bracket, put in a semicolon, and everything looks fine. Let's take another look at that completion code. It uses remove from super view. This is an instance of the UI view class. It unlinks the receiver from its super view and its window and removes it from the responder chain. And what it's doing here is removing falling image view at the end of the animation. We then use release, which is an instance method of the NS auto release pool class, to release falling image view, which actually decrements the receiver's reference count. Remember, it doesn't actually remove it from memory, It just decrements that counter by 1 to show that you're done using it. Because remember, you own any object you create with alloc, which means that you're responsible for releasing it when you're done.